When I was 6 years old, the very first time I was on stage is I played my guitar. I was an itty bitty little guy with big thick glasses, and I couldn't hardly get my arm over this huge guitar that my parents bought me for Christmas. And I'm 51 or 61 years old, and I still have that guitar today, the same guitar. And so how did I feel when I got on that stage? Well, I was very, very frightened because I had been on the stage prior to that one time in a school play, and I was awful. I forgot my lines. I was just awful, and it was an awful experience. But then they asked me to play my guitar on stage, and because I knew I could play, I had this sense of confidence, but I was still quite afraid that I would, freeze on stage again. But I went up and I did my thing, and it was a big hit. And then people started to applaud. And I had never had that experience before. And that changed my life. And I thought, I like this. So, I learned how to be comfortable getting on a stage. Now, it doesn't mean I don't get stage fright, because I do. I always get a sensation every time before I speak. And like I say, I've been in this business since the age of 6 and well, at least on the stage since the age of 6. And I still get a feeling before I get on the stage. And sometimes it's very intense and sometimes it's not so intense. I call it stage fright because that's the term we use for it, but it's not really a fear. I've kind of learned how to turn that into a bit of an excitement. And so there are some techniques that I use to take that discomfort that I might initially get with the prospect of getting on that stage and turn it into excitement. So one of the techniques that I use to get comfortable being on a stage or a screen is to adjust my mindset to go into what I call a mindset of service. So I give myself this little pep talk about what is my actual purpose here? Why am I really here? I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve this audience. And I learned this way back when I was playing music, even when I was very young. The way that I got myself comfortable was I had to deliberately get my ego out of the equation and start thinking to myself, my purpose is to make these people happy. My purpose is to give these people some enjoyment. My purpose is to give them my very best. And so I carry that with me to this day. Anytime I get on a screen or on a stage, the first thing I do is I adjust my mindset to get myself in that position of service and give myself that pep talk. I'm here for them. I'm here to help them. I've got something that's going to serve them, and I need to do whatever I can do to serve them at the highest level. So that's the first thing I do. Second thing I do when I'm getting prepared to go on a stage is I actually do face exercises. So I learned this many years ago, where I will step behind stage, or I'll go for a walk somewhere where it's private, or I'll go to the men's room, or somewhere where I can be alone for a few minutes, and I'll just open my mouth in all different directions like this. And until it stretches, till it hurts. And then I'll announce the values, the vowels, A, E, I, O, U. And I'll do that over and over again until I'm kind of sore here. Now, I do it 15 or 20 minutes before I go on stage because I get all red, right? And I want that red to go away. But here's what I found. When I stretch those muscles in my face, it's just like an athlete stretching their muscles before they play, before they get into their game. And it loosens up the muscles in your face. And so I find the words flow easier. It feels better when I'm on the stage. So that's the second thing I'll do to help prepare and get comfortable on the stage. Now, the third thing I'll do when I'm trying to get comfortable to go on a stage is wherever it's possible, I'll try and get on the stage before I speak. And maybe it's the night before, maybe it's an hour before, and it's not always possible. But when it is possible, I want to get on the stage. I walk the stage from one end to the other, or if it's just a floor in the room, I walk it from one end to the other. I look out over where the audience is going to be. I just want to get a feel for that perspective so that when I do get on the stage or in front of the audience, I don't get what I call stage shock. Stage shock is where you get up onto the stage or on the screen and you see all the eyeballs staring at you and you freeze because you weren't expecting the magnitude of the intensity or the energy. So I try and prepare for that in advance. Now, if it's not at all possible for me to get on the stage, what I'll do is when another speaker is speaking, I'll sneak back and I'll kind of peer through a crack in the drapes or in the curtain if there is one, or I'll try and find a way to get an eyeball out there. I just want to see what the room looks like from the perspective of the stage before I walk out. So if I can get that experience and get comfortable with the room, that really helps me get comfortable getting on those stages.